Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Sam's Rant. This is the post match. For starters, yes, I know what you're all thinking. Yes, it was not offside. VAR reviewed. I checked it out myself as well. The camera angle at first glance might have felt like it was. It was close. It was very close, but shoulder was in line with the player. And to be quite honest with you, I know how VAR has kind of destroyed the game that we love, where level it doesn't exist anymore. It was one of those where level, dude. I think that one fell under level, but you could misinterpret, not misinterpret. When I say that, that wouldn't be fair. You could interpret it as offside. I wouldn't blame you as that because I also thought at first glance that it was. I was like, yo. I actually sat there like, yo. And obviously, it was a steal. It was like a smash and grab victory. But hey, we got the result. If it fell into our favor, like, hey man, it's one of those. You win some, you lose some, right? So yeah, very pleased with the win. Overall performance, it was a slightly tough watch. We were able to control the game, which I was happy with. I feel like there was a point where we literally had West Ham pinned in their half. And when we control the ball in that sense, which I guess that's what Ralph was always trying to aim for when he was like talking about control, because we're pushing them so deep, because we struggle to break teams down, it's not really like our strong suit. We can't do like how City or Liverpool or Chelsea do, where they can make little triangles and make some good combination plays to break through the lines. We can't do that because we don't have a midfield. But in our ability to limit them creating chances, we obviously kind of limited our ability to create chances as well, because we're a team that plays on the break, right? We are counter-attack FC. We are pace. And since we don't necessarily have any other creatives besides Bruno, really only, because Greenwood is a striker, guys. Let's face it. Greenwood is a striker who's being played out of position. And I'm really hoping that he's just playing him there because Sancho obviously had a personal matter to attend to. So hopefully when Sancho's back, he's playing Sancho. Like at this point, like we love Greenwood, but he's a striker. And I just feel like it's one of those things where when we're resting Chris, or maybe we play him alongside Chris in that 4-2-2 system if he wants to go back there. But Greenwood just he's not a creative. He's not a creator, he's a striker. So yeah, it was a little bit tough there. Yeah, but literally like Bruno is the only one trying to create, because Ilanga didn't really have the best game. I think he did it okay, but I mean, he's a young lad. As if Greenwood is old, hey? Anyway, so yeah, it was obviously a little bit tricky, but West Ham, Rice and Suchek, that was really like a tough test for McFred, I felt. Like, look, McFred, McTominay, he's not a 6, he's an 8 at best. It's only when he goes forward where, but obviously his decision making is a little bit subpar as well. So it's like, yeah, they were, I wouldn't say outplayed, but it was, I guess the word is decent. It was honest. They worked hard. They worked hard all game, in fact. But then it's like at their ceiling, especially with Fred. It was like at the ceiling. The fact that I'm just glad he wasn't making mistakes. He made one mistake. We gave the ball away. Scott as well. Like there was that one like loose pass he made that almost cost us a goal. It's just one of those things where at least just one, and then the rest of the game was a little bit more sound, and that's okay. We're human after all. They are human beings. You're allowed to at least make one mistake, but at least we've seen their excuse me. We've seen their ceiling. I feel, yeah. Anyway, let's not dilly dally. Let's get into player ratings just so that this is not too long. Dave. Let's start with Dave. Today Dave didn't have much to do. Did make that one save, which might have been going wide, but sometimes you must just be extra safe. Made that one save. We'll give it to him. Otherwise, it was sound. Good, some decent distribution as well. I'd give Dave, 6.5, average game. Like, he didn't have much to do. So, and not like 6 is bad. 6 is just average. 6 is just par. Didn't put a foot wrong. Had a solid game. Dallo was arguably the best player in the first half. I liked his performance as well. I just think the second half he fell a little bit off. I'll give Dallo, I think also a 6.5 as well, actually. Because, I mean, he has so much to offer going forward. And I feel like sometimes he could capitalize on the cutting in that Greenwood does and keep overlapping. Not that Greenwood would give him the ball, because Greenwood kind of like head down and just shoot first, but it would kind of help Greenwood out if he had that option of the overlap more often. But yeah, I think he had a pretty solid game. I'd give him a 6.5. I mean, yeah, I mean, didn't do too much, thinking too much wrong defensively. So 6.5, I think, is fair. I don't think he was 7 worthy, but it was okay. He also had a pretty solid game. And then Varane, I mean, Varane has been quietly sound, eh? Very few errors, and I think now he's getting comfortable again now, where you can see, yeah, no, you can see the pedigree. You can see, yeah, no, he's just a better defender. So, so yeah, no, Varane as well. But look, I think also I'll give him a 6.5. Like, it wasn't, the thing is, I feel like some of these performances, like everyone had a fairly decent average performance across the board, which is why like West Ham didn't have many chances except for the couple of set pieces, like the corners and stuff that they had. There was that one shot that Bowen hit that hit the side net, like yay, a little bit, tricky, but like literally, I think as a team they were all pretty average, like 6.5ish to 7 average, like not poor. So that's kind of a good thing. It's just we just need that extra in more in the midfield, because it's like with like, for example, Bruno's average, for example, is not the same as McTominay's average or Fred's average, because Bruno is the better midfielder. So if we just had better midfielders, our average performances would probably create more chances. We'd probably have a better control of the game. One of those things. So I don't feel like it's not a penalizing of Varane in saying that he was also just a 6 or 6.5, But he was sound. He was, if anything, I'll give him a 7, because he was the best defender. I mean, Maguire came back, still hated that. But look, anger aside, he also had a pretty sound game. Put in a couple of really good tackles, I must admit. That was like, okay, a proper, clean, well-timed, executed tackles, and that was good. So I will give him a 6.5. Shem, Lena, he can also be in that same bar. Barely a foot wrong, I mean, there was that one just random pass, but he's allowed that one mistake, right? Just that one mistake, I'll give him a 6.5, just average, slightly above average, overall a good performance, Shem, for Maguire. But that captain's armband must come off. That one I refuse to accept. I will not accept him as my captain. It's not my captain. That's not my captain. And then Tellez was probably the only one who actually had like a just bare minimum game. Him I'll give him a 5. I'll give him a 5, because he didn't really do much also going forward. He did put in, as per usual, that one cross in from a set piece. Other than that, I mean, like, what else did he do? Yeah, I mean, excuse me, sorry. A lot of their chances were coming in from that left hand side, their right flank, So it's like, good, dude, So I think, yeah, he was slightly outplayed a little bit versus Bowen. Bowen kind of had his number, but yeah, no, Sham. Like you could argue that Aaron is probably out of favor now. Like, Dallo is proving to be the better right back. Like, the starting lineup should be Dallo and maybe Shaw, when Shaw does pick up on form again. But yeah, Tellez, sorry, bro. He needs to do more. He needs to do more than just being a set piece specialist, because we have Bruno who can put in a couple of good crosses, And then as for Fred, I mean, Fred today, I'm gonna say 5.5, because yes, he didn't do too many mistakes. It wasn't honest. Actually, no, at 6, it wasn't honest performance, because he also ran. He ran as literally Mr. Nice Guy Smiley. He did all he could. He did play like 1 or 2 passes here and there. I mean, he at least was able to receive the ball, take a good touch, and release. Do the bare minimum of what he needs to do. But obviously, it's like that ceiling. He can't do more than that. So I'll give Fred a 6. But yeah, we need, this is the last week of the transfer window. We need to buy a holding midfielder. Declan Rice looks like, yeah, a man amongst boys in that midfield. But like, and I was sitting here like, if we just had half of what Rice is right now, man. And you look at Matic, you're like, no, he doesn't have the legs. It sucks. It sucks because he doesn't have the legs, guys. Yo, guys, Matic doesn't have the legs. And then I feel for players like Donny because clearly the whole world thinks that he's a number 10, at best a number 8, which I can agree with. But I'm inclined to think that surely if you were to play, if you want to play Fred as the 6 or McTominay as the 6, put Donny there as the 8, please. Maybe put Donny and Bruno together as 2 8s and put Matic there. Because at least for where we lack the control in the midfield in terms of like defensively not being able to catch the runners or whatever, we will be able to hold the ball and make little triangles and try to penetrate by keeping the ball. You know, outscore the opposition because we will concede, right? But outscore the opposition. I'll be happy. But alas, that's a whole other story. As for Scott, I mean, kind of the same thing with Fred. I'll also just give him a 6. Like, also worked hard, ran his lungs. They pressed. I will give them credits for pressing well, because to pin West Ham into their half, you know, for a good portion of the game and for good spells where we kind of had some solid possession, that was really impressive, especially from a ball position perspective. I know it was a lot of sideways passing, which is the classic stuff that they do, but at least it wasn't them giving the ball away via a wayward pass. So 6 for Scott. And then Greenwood, man. I mean, there was like literally as the game started, like this is a massive problem we have with playing wide forwards, is that they just put their head down, they want to dribble 3 players and shoot. That gotta stop, man. That gotta stop. And surely, because that's why we benched Rashford, right? Because you do those things. Maybe we might need to drop Greenwood for a bit, because yes, he started the season hot, he was on fire, and yeah, I can obviously understand why he wants to do what he's doing, but it's currently not working. They figured you out, Greenwood. Gotta switch it up. Gotta switch it up, dog, you know? Yes, he will play a pass here and there, but sometimes it's those key moments, those key decisions that you choose to make, and that's where it's like, it's very annoying because it happens on both flanks. You know, left side it's Rashford, right side it's Greenwood. And it's like we just bought Sancho, right? We didn't buy a CDM, we bought Sancho, so let's fucking use him on the right. Greenwood, Greenwood, Greenwood. I'll also give a 6. I'll give him a 6. No, I can't give him a 6. 5.5. 5.5 for Greenwood. It wasn't his best day today. Yeah, no, like I just feel like some of the decisions that he was making weren't really sound, and they could have been chances there. Actually, not that's not fair, because defensively for the first time in a while, actually he did really well. He was kind of up and down. You could see, yeah, he was tired. In all fairness, Greenwich, I need to give you a little bit more respect. It was a 6. It was worthy of a 6, but yeah, some of those decisions that you made, bruh. But yeah, no, I think a 6 is fair. Bruno for me. I mean, I think Bruno in that like kind of free roaming, but more of an 8 than a 10 is perfect. It makes sense why he's got number 8 tattooed on his arm. He knows himself. He knows. I think, yeah, no, Bruno, just his sheer ability to pick out a pass, man. It's what Pogba does better than him from deep. Because sometimes, hey, guys, Pogba. But the fact that Bruno has the vision in his locker, he could maybe get better at it. But also for me, like he was working so hard. He was popping up in many areas of the pitch to try and make some stuff happen. Yeah, man, like he was also guilty of that shoot first mentality around the edge of the box instead of trying to do something a little bit more intricate. But I'd give Bruno a 7 because he did come up with at least 2 key chances, at least. You might not count some of them as key chances, but it 2 were definitely key chances. Yeah, no, I mean, he did give the ball away a lot as per usual. It wasn't the best performance. I'd say it was just slightly above average. But yeah, he's probably going to be my man of the match contender. Him and Dallo would be my man of the match contenders. Also having looked back at some of the replays and stuff as well. It's just like, yeah, no, Bruno tried. He was the only creative source that we had there. Obviously, bar Chris coming in deep to collect the ball and try to also make something happen, link up with players. And you see, once Chris was to come in deep, we've got a problem. Then we know that we are not creating enough chances for Chris because Chris is living the graveyard shift.